Hello and welcome to the Franchise Leg Betting Show Conference Championships weekend. Adam, we are brought to you by freebets.com. The best free bets brought to you daily by the Free Bets team. It's an exciting weekend. There's lots to be done. If you're first time to bet and you're thinking, oh, it's close to the Super Bowl, I might have something, you should definitely be going over to freebets.com and checking out what offers they've got, right?
Yeah, there's plenty of offers there. Lots of different betting websites that you can go to. Some really big welcome offers that you can get, and obviously it tells you all the information there. I have got two bet builders for the two games that are coming out for the NFL. Got some football stuff as well, and there's lots of different sports. I have to mention 92-1 lucky 15 that they had on Thursday on the horse racing. So anyone who's into horse racing as well, then they're the place to go. And lots of different things that you can get involved in.
Yeah, big day at Cheltenham tomorrow, isn't there? So people
Cheltenham Trials Day tomorrow. So
I had a 52-1 winner last week, didn't I, on the NFL? So fingers crossed we can.
You did. You hid it from everyone like a true degenerate gambler that you are.
It's one of those bets that you kind of like go, oh, I'll have that, but I think it's got a chance, but I won't tell everybody else about it because I don't want to be like, what are you on about?
But you told us all after it happened, though, didn't you? Yeah.
Oh, you're equally as good at that. Posting them in the group, going, oh, I had this. Adam, we're here to talk about the conference championship games. We've got New England at Denver, Los Angeles at Seattle. From the games that we saw, I think this is probably the right teams that have got there as well.
Yeah, I think it definitely is on the NFC side. I think that's fair enough. When you think about the other teams, I don't really feel like the Bears are quite there yet. So I think that would be a bit early for them. And trying to think, the Seahawks beat the 49ers, obviously really banged up and just sort of injured. So it was always going to be difficult for the 49ers to get anywhere. So I think from the NFC side, I think that's fair. The AFC side, I mean, you got the number 1 and 2 seed, haven't you? So it does kind of feel like the two teams that have had the best seasons. Do we really think that they're the best teams? Don't know. I mean,
from the AFC, I don't know. This year it was one of them, wasn't it? I think. What would you have said? It should have been Jacksonville, maybe going into the playoffs.
I think a lot of people felt that the Jags had sort of, especially after their bye week, after their game in London, had kind of hit a real consistent run of form and had done really well. I think the Bills had a few issues on defense, but really they looked like a good scoring team still, and so I think you could argue them just as much as these two. But I mean it's not a bad one at all, and I think, to be honest, we should probably be quite grateful that the Patriots managed to get through that game against the Texans, because otherwise I think the Super Bowl could be a little bit boring.
One-sided, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the first game we're going to talk about. We should probably bring the odds up. We are hey, there we go. It worked. So we'll talk about the Patriots at Denver. The spread is -4.5 in favor of the Patriots. I think it's a really tough one to talk about when we're talking about betting here, because what you're betting, it's not like you're analysing the game and breaking down what the Broncos did well all year and what the Patriots did well all year. It's, do you think Jarrett Stidham is good enough to win this game, yes or no? And I think that's all you need to know about this one in terms of what you want to put your money on. If you think he's good enough, bet the Broncos. If you don't, it's the Patriots. And there's not a lot else we can really divulge in terms of breakdown of the game, really. Are you in the same set as me, or do you think there's more to it than that?
I think when it comes to the who's going to win and the spread, I think you're right. I think it is a little bit like, what do you think the Stidham's going to be able to accomplish in this game? It's very, very difficult to be on the side of the guy who hasn't thrown a pass in 2 years. So it's tough to really sort of like have any form of confidence over the Broncos. A lot of people have been coming out and saying their defense has been really, really good this season, which it has. You can't argue that it hasn't been good. But at the same time, it has been leaking points against these teams in the last certainly in the playoff run and definitely in the last few weeks of the season. So, yes, it's been good, but it hasn't been fantastic. I just don't think that Stidham is going to be able to create enough in order to suddenly, he's not suddenly going to be this world beater, is he? There's a reason that he's the backup quarterback. I think there's a little bit of hope for Broncos fans in respect of they've got Sean Payton now. He can create a game plan which doesn't put too much pressure on Jarrett Stidham. And we've seen him do this before when he was in the Saints and Drew Brees went down and Teddy Bridgewater helped out. And so it is possible that something shocking could happen. It's not a complete no-go, but it does feel like it's probably about 95% plus that it's going to go the way of the Patriots. And I think that the one thing that I would say, and, I've banged on about the Patriots schedule all the way through the season and how easy it's been. The one thing you can't take away from them is the fact that they have played against two very good defenses in the Chargers and the Texans in the playoff run. And they've looked relatively okay. Like May has been all right putting up points. He hasn't been as good as what he was in the season, but he has looked reasonably all right. And also, I feel like even though he had quite a few fumbles against the Texans in that weather, it kind of showed that he still has that confidence and that poise about him to be able to go and throw that touchdown to Kayshon Boutte towards the end and things like that. So, yeah, it's tough to really think that the Broncos are going to do much.
Yeah, I think also on terms of the Patriots side of it, they've sort of got healthy at the right time as well. I know on that defense, they had a couple of injuries towards the back end of the year, sort of Spillane, Milton Williams, Christian Barmore, Harold Landry, all that, even Gonzalez with his concussion protocol squad. They all seem to be back and fit now. So it all seems to be clicking into place for that defense. So it's now its strongest, which I think is a good thing for them. In terms of the over-under, it's set at 42.5, Adam. Can you see it? I suppose it's the question. Can you see Denver putting many points on the board? Yes or no? Because if that's what it's going to come down to, because I can't see the Patriots scoring 42.5 on their own because that defense of the Broncos is too good. So I can see this one being probably quite low scoring.
Yeah, I feel like low scoring is the way forward. I think 42.5 is probably not far off of what you got to look at. I mean, if you look at the Patriots, I know they only scored 16 against the Chargers, but I kind of feel like the way that it's funny, although like I say, although the Broncos defense has been sort of like statistically it's very good, it's second when it comes to giving up rushing yards and seventh when it comes to giving up passing yards over the course of the regular season. And it has done well. Like I say, it has leaked points though, and it does seem to do that. And so I do feel like the Patriots will probably come out of this game scoring roughly what they did against the Texans, which is about 26, 28 points. I can see that happening. And the other thing is I just don't feel like they're going to have to do much more than that. So I think if they get to 28, I think they've won. And I don't feel like Stidham is going to be able to put up enough points in order for it to really work. That it is a case of like you're going to have to look at other things in order to be able to get points for the Broncos. It's tough because the thing is, it's not like the Patriots defense is bad. this is the thing. It's like, because the Patriots seem to be pretty good all round at the moment, it's very difficult to see where that weakness is in order for them to be able to exploit it. And I don't see Stidham, and I don't see the Broncos putting up enough points in order to do this. Also, you've got two very good defenses. And like you say, it kind of feels like a low scoring game. The majority of playoff games tend to be low scoring games as well. So this is going to be very much, can the Patriots deal with being at Mile High and the environment that's going to be? And can the Broncos actually put any points up through their backup quarterback? And it just kind of feels a little bit like under makes a lot more sense than over.
Yeah, I know when I was looking at touchdown scorers for this, I just had no confidence whatsoever in putting down any of the riskier names. I know that, Bo Nix has got chemistry with the likes of Troy Franklin, obviously with the Oregon days. So, you can make an argument that the ball might go there. We saw Mims have success over the last couple of years on a couple of balls. You might think, oh, yeah, it could go there. But I think outside of Cortland Sutton and maybe RJ Harvey, you're going, I don't know where the confidence is with Stidham and who he's going to be throwing the ball to and where those connections lie. So with that being said, I'm like, if I'm betting on a touchdown scorer and the only one I can really say is maybe Harvey, where are the touchdowns coming from for them to get to that sort of, they need to get over 20 points, we're saying, to get to that over the 42. Yeah. So that's my issue with that. And saying that as well, Adam, we should probably look at some of the touchdown scorers for this game before we move on to the next one. So who do you like in terms of this game? I think the betting market suggests the same as me. It's RJ Harvey, and then they're unsure. But what do you like on both sides?
So if you want to just stick on the Broncos for now, because that's what we're talking about, it is literally like, I mean, I've written Harvey down, obviously, at 5-4. He does feel like he's going to have the majority of the running back work. The only other one that I have put down on the Broncos side is Jaleel McLaughlin.
Two running backs.
Yeah, so the reason that I've put him down is that he does tend to be a little bit more in the passing game. I could see them, they're going to have to create lots of different looks and sort of like different schemes in order to be able to try and catch the Patriots offside in a different way, I think. And I feel like McLaughlin can be that. He can do that just as much as what Harvey can when he's involved. So I think that he's definitely worth having a look at when it comes to the Broncos, and at a price of 5-2, I think it's not a bad price to be going for. As you say, with the rest of the Broncos, the only other one that I would sort of put a slight, I mean, I haven't written him down, so this is just me sort of thinking about it now, would be Marvin Mims, just purely because he could be involved in jet sweeps. He could be involved in different sort of running plays, but realistically you sort of think, even if he is he actually going to be close enough to the goal line in order to do something here? So I think that Harvey is the obvious one. I know that he's very short, but I still feel that he's the obvious one to go for, and one that is worth having a look at. But yeah, on the Broncos side, I haven't got anything else.
The only thing I thought was maybe Cortland Sutton being that older head, a bit more experience, the ball might go towards him, more of a safety net for Stidham because of the length of time that he's been playing and the confidence maybe more in him. So I thought 3-1, Sutton's probably the guy I put my money on out of the receivers. I know that there was a lot of drawn up plays in the red zone for little Jordan Humphrey last week. Obviously, he had a dropped one, which should have been a certain touchdown, and he also got a touchdown. And at 12-1, that might be something to look at if you like a single bet on its own. That could be interesting because there was design plays for him in the red zone. Yeah,
there were. I mean, it is literally going to be a case of how confident you feel in Stidham and whether or not he's going to get the opportunities in this. I mean, like you say, at that price, it is a huge price. So it's definitely one worth having a look at. I don't know. I just don't feel the confidence in Stidham in order to really feel that this is going to happen. But I think out of any of them at 12-1, I think he's definitely like you say, the one who kind of had some plays almost arranged for him, didn't they? They were scripted for him, and it kind of felt like that he that's definitely one thing that they might go to if they do get themselves in a position to score.
Yeah, and moving on to the Patriots side of things, again, I wasn't overly confident really on anyone other than maybe Ramondre Stevenson. Again, Harvey and Stevenson odds both at 6-5, the two betting favourites. Outside of that, is there anyone you had true confidence in that you're like, yeah, I want to put my money on him for the Patriots?
So I've got Stevenson down as well, which makes sense, and I feel like what you're seeing is what it's been all season when it comes to him and Henderson. It feels very much that Stevenson is the kind of guy that they're going for the goal line back, so that makes a lot of sense. I like Hunter Henry. I think that he's a good red zone target, so I've put him down as well. I think at 7-4, I think he's a decent shot. I also don't think that he's necessarily going to get Pat Surtain on him. So I think that because of that, it kind of turns him into a slightly more a target that's worth going for, and one that might go for a little bit more. You kind of feel like Surtain's probably going to end up on Diggs or Booty.
Yeah.
That kind of feels like the more logical play that's going to happen. So therefore, although the other corners are just as good for Denver, but it does feel like it's somewhere that maybe Henry might be the one. He had a very bad game last week, but it was, in that weather, it was just really, really tough. Scored a touchdown against the Chargers and had a pretty decent season. I think he was either number 4 at tight end, I think, for the season. He had something like 7 or 8 touchdowns. So, he's a good red zone threat. So I quite liked him. And then the only other thing that I liked, I did it last week against the Texans, and I kind of like it again here. I think the New England defense at 6-1 is definitely worth having a look at because, it's a really big price and they're not bad. They scored against the Texans. They've had a few takeaways this season, and going up against Stidham, who, as we say, we're not confident in. We don't really know what we're going to get. If he probably ends up in a position where he's going to have to throw the ball if they're behind. So it kind of feels like there's a chance that it could come in, and at a bigger price, I think that's definitely the way that I look at it, and the one I like Henry. I think Henry's got a good chance coming in, but for me, I would be back in the New England defense to get another takeaway.
Yeah, the two wide receivers that I would have the most confidence in again would be Diggs and Boutte, because that's the way the targets went. It was 6 targets to Diggs and 5 to Boutte. So that seems to be where the ball wants to go. So just on a pure volume stance of the direction that, May was struggling against the Texans, had a lot of fumbles. So when he did have the ball and he had the confidence, that's where it was going. So I'd urge people, if they wanted to pick one of the wide receivers, to look at those stats. And Boutte's at 13-5 and Diggs is at 2-1, which is really, really good odds considering they both went in the end zone last week. So you're getting good odds at both of them, considering we think that the Patriots are going to be more of the scoring offense of this game. So quite like those two odds as well. Before we move on from that, Adam, you mentioned there that you really like the odds on the Patriots scoring. Equally, we've talked about the defense on the Broncos side of things being good this year, and obviously they've got some of the best cornerbacks in the league as well, and one of the best edge rushers. If they have a chance at scoring on their defense as well, are they similar odds as the Patriots, or are they slightly shorter, longer?
I think they're 7-1, so they're a little bit longer. Let me just have a look. I'm surprised. Can you not? Is it not up there? Because it's normally
the touchdown scorers on the section I've got is just players. So there's there's no touchdown, but not defense on this one.
Oh, okay. I tell you what, let me just have a look. Um, I'll go on a different site. I think because I saw it, I'm pretty certain that they're very similar. It was a bit like it last week with the Texans.
Mhm.
They were both around sort of like the 8-1, 9-1 mark. Um, so let's have a look.
I also urge people to look into this. I've been having a lot of this year and had a bit of success with it. A lot of people always look at the touchdown scorers and get their money on that. I always also look at the people to record sacks. You can get good odds on a double in one game for sacks. And when you think about how often sacks happen when you're getting games with sort of 4+, 5+ sacks within the game, you can have multiple people from the same team. It's up there in front of you there, just looking at the odds. You've seen Chavion Clayson, who's had a resurgence, I was really high on out of LSU, has had 4 sacks in the last 3 games. Benito's had 2 sacks in his last 2 games. So having a little cheeky double on them is not a silly thing to do as well.
So the New England defense is 6-1, and the Denver defense is 13-2. So that's at Paddy Power. So they're pretty much the same. That was kind of similar last week with the Texans and the Patriots, but they were bigger odds. But yeah, I think the Patriots defense is probably more likely to score than the Denver defense, because I'm not sure. I think you can come out and go that Drake made a lot of mistakes last week, but I do think a lot of that was the weather. And so I feel like there's more chance of him reverting back to how well he has been during the season. Jarrett Stidham, obviously, we don't know, and there's more chance of errors, I think. So, yeah.
Definitely. I'd be looking at the side of the Patriots defense to score. Yeah. That looks like a nice bet. We'll move on to the Rams at the Seahawks. This is the game that I think everyone's got their eyes on. I think this is going to be a really, really good game. The spread is set at 2.5 in favor of the Seahawks. I think that's probably about right. I think this is a really good spread for the game in terms of accurate for it. Wouldn't like to bet on it on a spread. I think you're better off money line for this would be my advice. Pick the team you think are going to win and bet on that, because I just don't find value in the 2.5. Are you on the same board with that, Adam?
Yeah, I mean, I think the only reason that you go for the -2.5 is if you're on the Seahawks side. You know, that's the only reason that you do it. Like you say, I don't really see much value in it. I think if you believe the Rams are going to win, then get on the money line. But I think that if you do feel that the Seahawks are going to win it, I would probably look at the -2.5 and go for the 10-11 rather than 5-7, because it's just a little bit better odds for you. I know that the last game that they played in, it was 38-37. It's entirely plausible you could end up with a similar sort of result here, but I don't know. I think most games tend to be within. It's a field goal, isn't it? So it's like more often than not. So I think the -2.5 is fine if you want to go for the Seahawks.
Yeah, the Rams defense has struggled over the last couple of weeks. You know that's been the sort of test and error, whereas Seahawks have been on fire, haven't they, of lately? So you reckon it could be? There's a chance at another shootout. So the over/under is set at 46.5. You were talking about 60-point game just there. Do you think this clears the 46 quite comfortably?
Yeah, I think it will. I know, as I said earlier, that playoff games tend to be tighter, but I just feel like these two teams,
they know each other well, don't they?
They do, and
twice a year, every year.
And I think they're going to have to play like that to a certain extent. I don't think there's any other way of getting around it. You can't suddenly batten down the hatches on an offense like the Rams, which is just so strong, got so many good players to it. You know, and it's not just about Puka and Devontae Adams. It's like you've got 2 really good running backs that you got to try and stop in Blake Corum and Kyren Williams. You've got 3 tight ends who have been very good this season, and actually you've had like some 3 tight end sets where it's like they've looked really good and done really, really well. And I think they've all got potential to sort of kick on in this game and do really well for them. So you've got a really strong Rams defense that's offense that's just going to be really difficult to slow down. In the same way, the Seahawks offensively, it kind of feels like they haven't got the stars and they haven't got as many options, but they've got a really good game plan and it seems to work pretty well for them. And we saw how well it worked against the 49ers, and they can kind of score in all different areas, the Seahawks. So that's why it sort of works. It feels like although both defenses I think both defenses are all right. They're decent defenses, especially the Seahawks. The Rams, not so much, but I still think they're good. But I just think the offenses are too strong, and I just cannot see this ending up being like under 45 points.
Yeah, I think you could be right there with this being quite high scoring again. Like I said, they know each other well. They're gonna. It's all on the line. It's this game or nothing. So yeah, it's going to be a big one. Adam, have you got a particular team? Obviously, I felt like we were both on the Patriots side when we picked the Patriots. I think that's the one. Is there someone that you favour in this game? I know you've been high on the Rams all year. You had them before the season started to be a Super Bowl. I actually had the Seahawks as my dark horse, and I thought they were going to be really, really successful this season. I thought they were going to be a lot better. So we've got two teams that we were both really, really high on. Are you still on pro Rams, or do you think this is the Seahawks' chance here?
To be honest, I think that this is, like I said, I do feel like this is going to be a 1-point game, and it could go either way. It's got that about it. It really could be a very tight game. I'll stick with the Rams just purely because I said the Rams at the beginning, sort of thing. But I was kind of we were talking about this in the chat show last night that we were doing when we were previewing these games, and I just sort of felt like at the end of the day, if we all feel that this is going to be a really tight game and it's going to be very close, who do I want as my quarterback at the end?
Mm-hmm.
And I just sort of went down with the line of I'd rather have Stafford than Darnold. And that's not actually anything against Darnold. That's more just the fact that
Stafford's playing MVP level football this year. You know,
exactly.
Darnold's had a great year, but Stafford he's been there, he's done it, he's won it. But
also, not only has he won it before, it feels like he's actually playing the best football he's probably ever played. You know, he really has been very, very sort of methodical with the ball. He's not been throwing loads of interceptions like other quarterbacks have done this season, and he just generally seems to be in that spot where it's like it's going really well for him. I know he's got lots of weapons, and that's obviously helping him, but it just kind of feels like it's probably been the best that he's been at. And I just don't, like I say, I just sort of feel like if I want someone on my side out of the two, it's him. Because once again, when it comes to the Seahawks, and this isn't Darnold's fault. It really isn't, because he hasn't actually had the opportunity. I still don't know what I'm getting with Darnold when the pressure's on. Like, I didn't see it last week because the pressure was never on. It was over before it started. And it's that thing where it's like, he only had 12 pass completions, was it, last week against the 49ers? But he didn't need to have any more. You know, he didn't, because the run game was going so well. They were so far ahead. It was like, it didn't matter. And, you know, his touchdown throw to Jackson Smith and Jigba was great. You know, he went out on the run, moved out to the left on the run, throws it to the back corner, gets the touchdown. Really, you know, it's something that you used to see like Aaron Rodgers do at Green Bay. You know, so it's not like we're coming out and saying that he's bad. It's just like when the pressure's on him, historically he's crumbled.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen that yet. And it's almost like, can the Rams get him into a point where that front seven can just continually pressurize him all the time, and what happens? So that's really what it boils down to, I think.
Well, we think it's going to be a high-scoring game. We think there's going to be lots of touchdowns. So let's have a look at the touchdown scorers, Adam. There's got obviously no more Charbonnet for this game, unfortunately. But I think Ken Walker, who I've said all year and off screen behind closed doors to you a lot this year, that Ken Walker is the better running back of this team. He's been amazing. But, he's just been, when you get to the red zone, Charbonnet takes over and people stop looking at how well Walker's actually been playing. So I think Walker's more than capable. I think that was more of a case of Walker's been injured. We've got Charbonnet. Let's use him for that and Walker for this and save him for times like this. And I think they can lean on him and he can be an every down back and he has the ability to do that. So I've got no qualms in that. And I do think he'll be in the end zone again, but at 4-6, I'm probably not going to put money on it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the loss of Charbonnet is going to have quite an impact on them, a bit more than maybe what you think. I get what you're saying, and Walker has been like the 3 down back before, and he has done it. The concern with Walker is always the same old thing: is his body going to be able to take it for that? And it's not that he can't, because he could have a great game again. He could score 3 touchdowns again, and the Seahawks win this. At the same time, his body could just give up. And this is the problem with Walker. It always has been. So you just don't really know what you're getting. 4-6. That's actually bigger than what it was. No, sorry, that's short. How does that work? Let me think about it. That's better odds than what it was. So
7-2 if you think he can go in 2 or more times.
Yeah, this is the thing. I think that's probably the way to play Ken Walker. If you're really confident on Walker and you think that he's going to have a good game, then 7-2 for multiple is probably the bet to have. I think 4-6 is just too short. It was 8-13. So yeah, I think 7-2 is the way forward there. Just looking at the other ones for Seattle. Obviously JSN I think is a good shout at even money. It's short, but it's a good shout to go for. And then the only other one that I really liked on the Seahawks side was Rashid Shaheed, purely because you've got this special teams that just has done, and it's not about last week, it's been good all season, and has a good chance of coming in. So at 15-4, I think he's got a good chance. He will be involved in general play as well for that offense. It's not just about kickoffs and stuff like that. So I think he's a good shout. Didn't really like anything else on the Seahawks, to be honest. And I think this is the kind of the issue for Seattle, where it's going to be a case of, it's going to be about whether or not their defense can stop the Rams' offense, I think, because when I look at it, I go, Ken Walker, I can see him scoring. JSN, I can see him scoring. Shaheed, I can see. The rest of them, it's a bit hit and miss, and they just don't have the options that the Rams have, and they don't have the names that the Rams have. Yeah,
definitely. I think I'm in agreement there. Who's going to be the backup running back for this game? Will it be, they've moved Velus Jones Jr., haven't they, to a running back position? I know he's always a wide receiver at the Bears, but I think he's been linked to be the backup running back. He's at 16-1. Do you think there's a point where there might be a bit of a rest for Walker and they bring in the backup running back if that's the case? Or,
I mean, I'm assuming that the backup is going to be Helani.
Okay.
Like, he's been about, hasn't he, a little bit. He has got involved in a few games, and he scored a touchdown not that long ago. At the back end of the season, once that had already been sorted out. I think he didn't. Did he? I think he played in week 18. It might have been week 18.
Yeah,
or
that makes sense. Just 2-3 games ago that he scored. That would be week 18, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So I think he played in that game and he got a touchdown there. I think that he's probably got a chance of being involved as the backup running back, but I mean, you have to feel like that they might use a backup for a little bit. You can't literally give Walker everything, because I think he will eventually crumble. But so he might be worth having a look at 8-1. I don't know. I do wonder if they might go more pass heavy because of the lack of Charbonnet.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we'll look at the other side of the ball on the Rams, which with the ball could literally go anywhere and everywhere in terms of this. They've turned into a bit of a tight end team, which we've not seen in the past. They've been very, wide receiver set heavy and the king of that. But it seems like 3 tight ends all getting involved, all getting in the end zone. I think that there's 2 that I really like, and it's Parkinson and Ferguson. I think Ferguson at the back end of the year, these last 3 games, has been, that he's been in twice in those last 3, and at 6-1's really, really good odds. Are you thinking you want to be on tight ends in this game, or are you sticking to the safe options of Puka and Devontae, who are both not bad odds considering how dangerous they are on the field?
Yeah, I think that look, obviously it kind of goes without saying that Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams are very good chances of getting in. They're both elite wide receivers. Adams, despite his age, could still be a wide receiver 1 on a team quite easily. And Puka has shown no signs of slowing down since he first came into the league. So I think they both got very good chances of scoring. They're both 5-4, so it is quite short, but I wouldn't put anyone off of it. I think Kyron Williams as well at 5-4 has got a very good chance of going in as well. We saw that he got 2 touchdowns last week. So yeah, I think they've got chances. When it comes to the 3 tight ends, I personally have one quite a long way ahead of the other 2 in my mind, and I've pretty much been backing him for most of the season. So why stop now, eh? So yeah, for me, Colby Parkinson, I think obviously he's the shortest price of the 3, but I just feel like he's involved a lot more. I think that he has a higher snap count than the other 2. He does seem to be getting the targets. He's not going to be, Seattle defense will not have their main defender on him, their main cornerback on him, because they're going to be on Puka and they're going to be on Adams. So I think that Parkinson's got a really good chance of getting in here. He didn't score last week. I think he scored the week before.
He scored.
Did he score last?
No, none last week. 1 the week before, 2 the week before that. So
that's it. So yeah, so he's been around for the last couple of weeks. Did all right. And, he's got the added incentive, hasn't he, of wanting to play pretty well against the team that draft him and let him go. So I think that he's got a good chance of having a really good game. And at 16-5, I think he's the one to be on. I'm not against the Terrence Ferguson logic. I think it's a fair shout. Just not sure how many opportunities he's going to get.
Yeah, fully agree with you on that. I think, we've talked about this before on the show, that where the targets go is where to put your money, and the targets go to Parkinson. It might be if Ferguson might get 2 targets, but they might both be in the red zone.
Yeah.
But Parkinson's, we know there's going to be the more opportunity to score. So I think, the money wise, it's good to put on Parkinson. But if you do want a longer shot of a single bet at 6-1, then Ferguson has that chance that he might get 1 target, 1 reception, 1 touchdown, like a stat line like that. I think he's always capable of getting that because there'll be something drawn up for him. But the safe money, I think, is on Parkinson. I think you're right there. Did you like any of the defenses to score in this game at all, or
no, not especially? I think that you're dealing with a very different game here compared to the game that you're going to get before it. It just kind of feels to me that you've got. I think as much as we can question how Sam Darnold is going to be when the pressure is really on him, I don't think you can come out and go, oh, he's definitely going to throw interceptions and it's going to be a disaster and the defense is going to have loads of opportunities. It's funny, the Seattle defense is actually 13-2 and the LA Rams defense is 9-1. I suppose the Seattle defense has been very good. I just don't see Stafford creating that many problems for himself in order for it to go wrong. when you look at it the other way, Darnold could potentially. So maybe the 9-1 for the LA Rams defense, if you really like it. I'm just not really that keen on either of them because I don't think it's that type of game. I feel like it's more likely to be a shootout than a defensive masterclass and them sacking the quarterback all the time.
Yeah, definitely. Moving on to doubles, if we've had any bet. I don't know what you've had this week. We didn't discuss it before coming on. Have you had one bet that's a double across the two games, or what have you brought to the table for us?
Yeah, so I've just got a double for the two games. I mean, there isn't much else really, to be honest. I mean, when you look at it, you could create doubles for the individual games if you
That's
really
what
wanted to.
I've brought, yeah, because I've had quite a bit of success through the playoffs with the doubles within the single games. So I thought I'll do that and see what you come to the table with.
I mean, I can quickly do one.
Well, while you're doing that, I'll tell you what I've had, and then you can tell me what you've had, and then you ones you've built. The Patriots Denver game, I have gone for Kayshon Boutte and Cortland Sutton. That's 13-1. As I said previously, I thought Sutton's going to be the safety blanket with his veteran ability, that if there is going to be one, it might go there. And I quite like Boutte in terms of the targets and the odds that he was at. So 13-1 is about the best I could get for some decent odds for that game. I found it quite tough to get anything above sort of 8-1 with any confidence. And I was equally as confident in this one as I was the shorter odds. So I didn't quite mind that one.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I don't know. Boutte, I've got no problem with. I'm just not keen on Stidham being able to do anything. Although I do agree with you in respect of, I think that if any of the receivers are going to see anything, it's going to be Sutton, because it normally does go to the veteran, doesn't it? So that would make sense. Just quickly, double for the Patriots Broncos game. I've gone for RJ Harvey at 6-5, and the New England defense to score a touchdown at 14.91-1.
There you go. He's just banged in the defense, just sneakily. In the later game, the Rams Seahawks game, I had Parkinson and Shaheed, and you'd be surprised that the odds are 19-1 on that, which I thought was brilliant in terms of what we've discussed. Not knowing what you were going to say, it's bang on the money of where we were both at with this game at 19-1 as well. I thought that was a really good bet.
Yeah, I think if Shaheed can he's entirely likely to have a chance of getting one from a kickoff or anything like that. But also, just like I say, he will be involved as well. I just quickly did Parkinson and JSN. It's only 6.8-1, so it's not great, but it's better than nothing.
And then what was the one that you have for both games?
The double for both games. I feel like you should be able to work it out as I've used them in the others. But the double for the first game, the New England defense at 6-1 and Colby Parkinson at 16-5 is 28.4-1.
Can you let me know what the odds are for Patriots defense, Rams defense? Because I feel like that was quite big odds, and they were the two that we thought had the bigger chance of scoring on defense.
So Patriots defense is 6-1, and the Rams defense
9-1
was 9-1, which works out to 69-1.
I think that's worth some money on. I really do.
Yeah.
The chances of Darnold historically falling to pieces has been a common theme, that it's probably worth it at 69-1 to bet on him falling apart. Although if he doesn't, fantastic. He's had a good game. They're in the final. That'd be great also. So I'm not opposed to putting some money on that.
Yeah, it does feel that if anyone's going to fall apart, or if any of the quarterbacks are going to fall apart in these games, it's going to be Stidham and Darnold. So to go for the opposition defenses of them two guys makes a lot of sense. So yeah, at 69-1, it's huge odds and worth a go. Yeah,
worth one of your £1 bets that you've been having lately, Adam.
Yeah.
You've been putting £1 bets on things that are like even money. Well, is there any other odds you have to bring to the table, Adam? I know it's a bit of an odd show with there only being 2 games.
Yeah, no, that was it really. There wasn't anything else. I think that they're the ones to go for, and hopefully we'll. I have to say, based on what the matchups are, I feel like we are hoping that the Patriots win. And then to be honest, I don't think it really matters too much if it's the Rams or the Seahawks on the other side. For those of us just wanting a decent Super Bowl and a competitive one, I think we need the Patriots in there, which is disgusting to say given their historical record over recent times. But I think it's probably what we're going to need to have.
We've all enjoyed them having a rebuild and having some success this year and looking good, but them getting back to a Super Bowl and winning another Super Bowl, kind of like, I don't want that again. We had
I didn't realise it'd been 8 years.
Well, that's the Chiefs dynasty, isn't it? Since then,
basically,
too many years of it. But yeah, we will probably be back with some more draft content coming very, very soon. There's a little bit of break after this to the Super Bowl, so we'll be probably coming in with some draft stuff. I'm guessing, talking about those new players coming in, and then we'll be back probably with a special Super Bowl show with some crazy odds. We'll try and get Sky on for that because he is the king of ridiculous bets, and we like that in the Super Bowl. We want to know about. We need to get someone on that will know more about Bad Bunny than you and I do, so we can bet on songs that are going to be done at the halftime show. We can bet on Gatorade.
And you think Sky is the person for this?
Freddie? Maybe should we get Freddie on?
Maybe you never know. I'm not going to be much help for you on that one, I have to say.
You can help me on coin toss. You know about flipping the coin. That's the
colour of Gatorade. There you
go. But till then, guys, keep it with the franchise tag and see you again